What's the most important spreadsheet you will ever create? You may create a number of important Excel spreadsheets in your life, but in my opinion, the most important one is a budget. You don't believe me? In the rest of this video, I will show you why a budget is so important, and I will show you how you can easily create a budget using some of the amazing tools in Excel. But first, a word from our sponsor. Actually, we don't have any sponsors, but if you find this video helpful, we do ask that you click the like button and the subscribe button. That will be very helpful for us to be able to make more of these videos for you in the future. First, what is a budget? It's just a plan, a strategy for how you will spend or earn money. As you might remember from the movie King Richard, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. But some people say that with all of life's changes and surprises, it's really worth creating a budget. After all, there's that old Yiddish saying, man plans and God laughs. True, but here's a quote from President Dwight Eisenhower, who just happened to lead the Allies to victory in Europe during World War II. Plans are worthless, but planning is everything. So yes, the actual plans are not that important, but the process of making those plans is crucial. Still not convinced? Well, according to the book, The Millionaire Next Door, most millionaires in the United States have one thing in common, a budget. And you would think of all that money, they really wouldn't need the budget. But that budget may be part of the reason why they are rich in the first place. So let's create a budget. If you want to follow along, click the link in the description below to download the Excel file that we'll be using. Our budget is going to be a table, and the first thing we have to do is to set up a structure for that table. Let's set up each budget category as a row in the table and each month as a column. In the worksheet Budget 1, we have a sample budget. Here is a typical set of personal budget categories and 6 months of estimated income and expenses. The most difficult part of creating a budget involves coming up with these estimates, but for now, we'll just use these dummy estimates. The income table is already set up. Our job now is to fix up the expense table. Putting in the labels for the months is easy, thanks to Excel's autofill feature. We'll type in the first label, Jan, and then we'll grab the fill handle in the lower right corner of the active cell and drag it out to the right. Pretty nice, right? Now it's time to do some calculations. First, we'll label the total row and the total column. And here's a quick trick for adding up the sums for each category and for each month. First, we'll select the whole expense table by using the keyboard shortcut Control+A. Then, on the right side of the Home tab, we'll just click the AutoSum button. Look at that. Sometimes I love Excel. Now that we have the total income and total expenses, we would like to see the net income, how much money we have left over after expenses. Of course, anytime you see the word net, you know there's some kind of subtraction going on. To calculate the net income, we just subtract total expenses from total income. In Excel speak, the formula is equals total income minus total expenses. Then we just copy that formula to the rest of the months. Our dummy numbers are pretty steady every month, but if your income or expenses vary widely during the year, you want to be sure you have enough money in the bank to cover expenses. In our budget, we have a big one-time travel expense in March. Let's see if our checking account can handle it. You can see that our opening bank balance is $2,000. For January, the bank balance will simply be to add the opening balance plus the net income for January. But don't copy this formula to the other months. They will be different. For February, the formula would be the previous bank balance plus the current month's net income. And now we can copy this formula to all the remaining months, but not to the total column. Our expense budget is now complete, but let's fix it up a little. First, we can adjust the column width. The first column should be wider, and the other columns could be narrower. We select all the column labels and then adjust one of the columns, and then all the columns are the same width. Then we can fix the number formatting. We'll select all the numbers, then we'll use the shortcut Control+1 to access the number formatting dialog box. And we don't want to have too many dollar signs, so we'll just choose the number format with no decimal places, but with a 1,000 separator. That looks better. Now let's fix up the text. Let's set the table title Expenses as bold, italic, and a little larger. Let's get rid of the yellow fill color in some cells. We don't need that anymore. We'll select all the cells and we'll use the fill color button to set no fill. Then we'll highlight the most important row of the table, the column headers. We could use the buttons in the font group such as bold and font color, but let's speed up the process. Let's use some cell styles. On my screen, I will click Cell Styles and choose Accent 1. On your screen, it might look different. Instead of a cell style button, you might see a sample of cell styles. In that case, just click the More button at the lower right of the samples and then click the Accent 1 style. Now let's select the total row at the bottom of the table and see which cell style would be best for that. I'm guessing that the total style would work, and yes, it does. Oh, and let's be sure to center the column headers. When you're finished, it should look like the table in the sheet Budget 2. Okay, we have a budget, but now what? Well, to follow our budget, we will need to record all our expenses. That's not easy. But once again, Excel has a tool to make this tedious job a little more enjoyable. You can find out more about this in part 2 of our video series. Just click the link in the description below. If you found this video helpful, please click the like button and the subscribe button. That will help us be able to make more of these videos for you in the future. Thanks for watching.